Hello, welcome to Lil's Vintage World. Welcome back to December. Welcome to another reading vlog. I do love a reading vlog, don't I? But this one's quite special because it's also an unboxing. The door has gone. This was handed to me. And I'm so excited for this. So a little bit of backstory about this. And the reason why I haven't got it is because this came out early on in the year, right? And I was like, no, I won't get it because Alison Weir is usually at Cheltenham Literature Festival. You know, I've been going to Cheltenham Literature Festival for 7, 8 years, something like that. And every single year I've been, Alison Weir has been either talking her fiction or non-fiction. And it's very rare for her not to be there. But she's not in the lineup this year. And I was like, because I thought she would be talking about this book. And as soon as I realised she's not there, I then went and got the book. So let's open it together. You can see my joy and excitement for this book because I have been waiting to read this. But the thing about literature festivals, if you have been or haven't been, is they're so special because you get the passion of the author about their subject, about what they're writing about who they're writing about. And in terms of history, my passion's already there anyway. But then for her to have her passion and where she was coming from, and you just get so much more background information than if you just bought the book. It's just so wonderful and it just makes it such a very special reading experience when you do get around to reading it. So I always love going to the literature festivals. And of course I get it signed as well to me. So, but hey ho, let's crack on open. And I wanted to get it now because at some point they'll probably get rid of the hardback, won't they? And I wanted it to match my Tudor Queen series, so come on, out it comes. Come on. God, it's just like stuck. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, so beautiful. Shall we take a closer look? I think so. Yeah, let's take a closer look. So here is just the absolutely stunning, gorgeous cover. I always loved the artwork. The 6 Tudor Queen series was beautiful, as is this one. Look. So this is the Elizabeth of York, the last white rose. Of course, married to Henry VII, mother of Henry VIII, Prince Arthur, mother of Mary and Margaret. Look at the spine. Tudor Rose 1. Oh, so beautiful. Here we have the back. Oh, it's a little bit crumpled there. Just straighten that out. Mother, survivor, queen. She didn't survive, did she? Look how beautiful it is, though. Just can't get over the front. Look how beautiful. And then this, it's like, oh, so pretty. Let's open it on up. Don't you love that sound? Look. That is so stunning. Is it just white on the inside? Let's open it on up. Yes, it is. Is it going to be gold? Oh, isn't that nice? Oh, that is nice. I do like that. That is beautiful. And then, shall we read what it's about? There we are. So please pause if you want to read what it's about. Let's be honest, we know what it's about. It's about Elizabeth of York. Pop that back. And then inside we're going to have some family trees and things. A little bit about Alison Weir. Look how many books she's written. So many. Oh yes, here is a big tree. Massive actually. Elizabeth of York. And then she married Henry VII. And boom. Arthur married Catherine of Aragon. Henry VIII. Also married Catherine of Aragon. Margaret, who married Scotland. Mary married France briefly, and then of course Charles Brandon, and then that's how we get the Greys. Yeah, that's her other children that sadly died very young. Look at that tree. And then we have a little sneaky peek at the back. Oh, look, the back advertises the 6 Tudor Queens series. Very, very nice. And it has the wonderful, beautiful Tudor end papers. And another Tudor Rose again. I'm so, so happy to have this in my collection now. Oh, beautiful. So you can probably guess what I'm going to be doing today. I'm going to sit and read this. Yes, let's read this. Let's see how we go. It's quite a big book, but I usually race through Alison Weir, so let's just crack in, shall we? Let's just get started. But before I do, I have to take the dust jacket off. Does anybody else take the dust jackets off? Not read with them on? Although I'm very aware that I'm taking that dust jacket off and this is white. It's like bright white, which I don't want to get dirty, but I'm scared I will. I'll probably get chocolate on it because I love chocolate. So I'm going to try my very best to keep it pristine. The faster I read it, the less chance it is that I'm going to get it dirty. So let's try it, shall we? Oh, so I am just one chapter in and we have literally hit the ground running. So we've started when Elizabeth Woodville is pregnant and takes her baby girls, not babies, but her children, her girls, to seek sanctuary because England at this time was, quite frankly, a mess. There was a lot of disagreements of who was the rightful ruler of England, and there was a lot of bloodshed. And Elizabeth Woodville seeks sanctuary. She goes to the abbey, she relies on her God and seeks solace. And can you imagine what it's like for little Elizabeth of York? She's the eldest, she's 5, and that is just madness. Absolute madness that this is happening. And it is literally, you've opened the book and suddenly Elizabeth Woodville is scrambling to get her girls ready. She's packing bags and she's like, right, we've got to go. Come with me. And it's literally just, you've got into the book and off you go. And it's not a little nice and gentle, literally hit the ground running with this book. And I am hooked already. I wish I could just sit here and read it all day, but I can't. I have jobs to do. But I think what I'm going to do is every time I have a little bit of free time, I'm just going to sit and read a chapter. But yeah, I am loving it so far. Absolutely loving it. But I'll keep you updated with how I go, how I do, and what's progressing in the story. Obviously, I don't want to give spoilers away, but it's history. And we've gone back to like the 1470s. So if you haven't been around for the last like 500 plus years, like 550 years, 550 years is a long time. And I'm not quite sure if something that happened 550 years ago is really deemed as a spoiler, but I won't tell you too much. I'm just going to give you the bare skeletal bones of what's happening at different times of what I'm thinking of it and making out about it. But I am loving it so far. And yeah, I like the fact that Elizabeth Woodville is called Elizabeth and Elizabeth of York is called Bessie, because of course they're both Elizabeth, and Elizabeth of York was called Elizabeth after Elizabeth Woodville, her mother. So, and also why Elizabeth Tudor was named Elizabeth. She was named Elizabeth Tudor after her grandmothers as well. So, you know, there's a lot of same names. There'll be a lot of Henrys in this, a lot of Edwards, a lot of Elizabeths, Marys as well. It's just all the same names. There's always the same names in Tudor history. You always get a lot of Jameses, particularly Scotland. There was always a lot of Jameses, always a lot of Marys, a lot of Catherines. You know, it's just recycling names, but I like that she's done a Elizabeth and a Bessie to distinguish. I like that. And I like that also she gave a little bit of a background, like she was talking to Bessie. Elizabeth was talking to Bessie, so Elizabeth was talking to her daughter and saying, you know, trying to give a little bit of background as to what is happening in the world and what's happened to her brother. But also the fact that, you know, Bessie's father, Edward IV, he married for love rather than marry for what kings should marry for. And it's all just very, very good. You've hit the ground running. I am hooked. Want to sit here all day and read it, but sadly I can't. But yeah, loving it. I know I said that I'd just stop at that one chapter because I had stuff to do, and I do have stuff to do, but it's rather addictive. It's so fast paced that you just want to keep going and going and going, and I'm really, really enjoying it. So I read another chapter and then another one. Whoopsies. So I'm here. I'm whizzing through it and I'm really, really enjoying it, really loving it. And I thought, oh, I'll come outside and I'll just read one more chapter, she says. 5 chapters later, you'll see. Oh, pigeons on our shed. Hello, Mr. Pigeon. Have you come to read about Elizabeth of York? Yeah? Okay, maybe not. On to chapter 4 I go. I'm actually not feeling 100% and decided that I'm kind of going to sack off my jobs that I was going to do today and just allow myself to sit and read, because I've already read like over 100 pages now. I'm on page 108, which is the start of chapter 6, 1483. And we, in the book, have just had the death of Elizabeth of York's father, Edward IV. It was really sad actually, because before that we have a number of deaths of her siblings, and yeah, it's very sad. I have quite a big execution as well, and yeah, I'm gonna have some paracetamol and hopefully that'll help me just feel a little bit better, take the edge off. I'm just going to sit and take it easy and read if I fancy reading. Yeah, and I'm now quite intrigued to see how Richard is going to be portrayed. Because of course he was Edward IV's brother, and he is uncle to Elizabeth and the Princess in the Tower. Well, they're not the Princess in the Tower as of yet, but we know them as the Princess in the Tower. So I'm intrigued to see how Alison Weir has written Richard III, because that's quite hotly debated, isn't it? And we'll see. So far, I'm actually really, really enjoying it. I'm absolutely loving it. I think it's so good. There's so much of Elizabeth's life that we don't know of. So it's nice that things that when we don't know, Alison's just kind of going over those and not putting in too many inaccuracies and just, you know, just getting on with it. And I like that. I don't like when there's, you know, when the evidence isn't there. So, you know, a writer just kind of makes it up. You always have to make up. Well, not always, unless they leave like diaries, but for the most part, you have to make up, you know, thoughts and feelings. But you can make educated guesses. But yeah, I just really like how Alison's writing it so far. And yeah, I'm just going to sit and chill and read this for a bit and hopefully feel a bit better. But yeah, can't believe I'm over 100 pages already. It is the evening now and I'm done for the day. I am just over halfway through the book because part of that's like notes and stuff. I am Can't believe how far I've got. So I've read 266 pages. I'm about to start part 3, Queen, which is on page, I can't do it. Come on, there we go. Page 269. Yeah, over halfway through. Can't quite believe I managed to read that much. Wasn't planning on it, but just so happened. So I'll pick it back up in the morrow. Good morning. It is the following day, and I'm just got myself actually a hot cup of Ribena because I fancied Ribena, warm Ribena, and just come outside to listen to the birds for a bit. And with this little one, he's listening to the birds too. And I have got quite a bit of stuff to actually do today, so I can't read all day today, but I plan on having my drink and reading one chapter, just one, and then maybe have a sleep before I actually crack on with the rest of the day. Oh, so last night I think I showed you where I got up to, didn't I? But I am about to start part 3, Queen. So where I'm up to, you can probably guess. Henry VII is now King of England, and he has to pick a wife and queen, and he is picking Elizabeth of York. He is stuck to his guns, even though he could go back on it. He could do a naughty and go back on it, couldn't he? He hasn't, and he's chosen his wife and queen, and that is going to be Lizzie. So yeah, as I said, one chapter, which actually works out quite well because this camera needs to go on charge. So I need to charge my camera. Bit of reading. Yes. Bit of cuddling this one, and then I'll crack on with the day. So I'm definitely not going to read as much as I did yesterday, but I'll have to let you know how I get on. So see you soon. It has now been quite a few days since I last picked up the camera. Bad vlogger, but I have been working my way slowly through the book. I'm here. I am on what page am I on? So I'm on chapter 20, which is page 415 of 499, the story. So less than 100 to go. And while I just have a little bit of time, I'm going to sit in my garden because it's quite nice. I've got myself a glass, it looks like wine, it's not wine, it's Coke, knife, keep myself awake. And I've also got, from Lidl, chocolate brownie. I always hear people raving about the bakery from Lidl, but I've never really got much. I got pizza last time, that was alright, the veggie pizza, that's okay. So I'm going to try something sweet, and I'm going to eat this and then touch the book, because the book is white. And I don't want to get anything on there, so let's try the brownie. Oh, it's nice. You don't need a lot of it. It's like what a brownie should be, because it's like got a bit of bite on the outside, but it's gooey on the inside. I think I might save the rest. That's quite... I'm going to save the rest. They're not the biggest portions, but you don't need a lot. Right, anyway, on to the reading. So I finished the book, and I don't know if you can tell, but I am crying. Oh, that hasn't happened to me in a really long time. Actually, funny enough, I've read 2 books that have made me cry before. One is a non-fiction, that was a really sad part, and the other one is a historical fiction, funny enough, also by Alison Weir, which was Innocent Traitor, which is about Lady Jane Grey. if you know what happens to Lady Jane Grey, you know that, but oh, that ending was powerful. I think I need a bit of time before I come and like wrap this whole thing up, but yeah, just wanted to document the fact that I've cried at a book which hasn't happened in such a long time, but that ending was beautiful. So I've stopped crying now. Or have I? Let's just briefly talk about that ending, because spoilers, but not really spoilers, because most of Alison Weir's books do this. It ends with her death, which I'm guessing you know that happens because it's like a fictional biography sort of thing. So it ends with her death, and it was the my thing, because as she's passing, it was just almost how I would like my death, not the way she went, but as she's going, that's how I would like think of it. And I just thought that was beautiful. I was going to cry again. I don't know if it's because I'm tired. Oh dear. Stop it. Right, anyway, let's talk about this book as a whole. I feel like I should go and put the cover on. Where did I put the cover? And I need to stop crying because I'm all red and horrible. Sorry. I found the cover, so let's put it back on the book while I talk about the book. So, as I said, it's kind of like a fictional biography of her life, starting when she's just before she's 5. And we get straight into it, and it's about her life, and she has the life that you think of when you think of a princess of England. It's not the life that you think, because her life is really hard. It's really hard. Like, there are happy moments, but there's so many difficult ones, because so her dad is king and she is the eldest daughter, and it's difficult because at that point in our English history, our monarchy's just everywhere. It's quite messy, and there's civil war, that threat of civil war so much. And then we also have Henry VI in the background, as well as her father, who's Edward IV. And there's a lot of death in here. And yeah, it's very difficult because, you know, when we first meet her, her mother is taking her to a sanctuary and for safety, and it's just, you know, you hit the ground running and it doesn't stop. It's such a fast-paced book, but that was her life. It was so much going on. And then when she does end up marrying, of course she marries Henry Tudor, who becomes Henry VII. He is what we know is kind of like a paranoid king, but was he really? It's difficult to say paranoid, because, you know, when you think of your life, his throne was so uncertain. And, you know, he was uniting York and Lancaster by marrying Elizabeth. But, you know, it's difficult. And again, she was just in that constant threat of, is civil war going to take place? As well as the threat of civil war, you have to remember that she was the sister of the Princess in the Tower. Although we say Princess in the Tower, Edward V was king, her brother. So Edward V and Prince in the Tower, those were her brothers, and that's really difficult. And Richard III was her uncle. Another really difficult thing. And I was really intrigued to see how Alison was going to approach writing those two aspects. One, the Prince in the Tower, and their disappearance. And then 2, how she was going to write Richard III, because I think it's very difficult to write Richard III, particularly when you're writing from a period of your writing the Tudor side of it. And there's lots of supporters of Richard III out there, and you don't want to cause offence, do we? But I actually really liked how she wrote Richard III. I did, but you have to read it for yourself to see how Alison does write that. I thought it was beautifully told, and, as you know, emotional. As I said, I've only ever cried at one other fiction book in my life. I've been close to tears a few times. I've welled up, but I've never cried. But that was a full-on little cry that I had. And the other book that I've done that to is Innocent Traitor by Alison Weir. That was, yeah. I've cried at non-fiction, 1. So maybe, now that I've cried at 2 fiction, they're both, it's just so funny that it's both Alison Weir. And I'm pretty sure the part that I cried of was the death of Lady Jane as well. So, Yeah, I feel very, very attached to Elizabeth. Really attached to her. And I kind of don't really want to let her go. I have to say, I really appreciate the fact that Alison, for this book, it doesn't seem like she's gone far from historical accuracy. She's stayed very close to the truth, and I feel like Elizabeth has really come to life for me. I feel like I really believed that this was Elizabeth, and I thought it was really, really good. How do I rate this? Well, it's got to be 5-star. I was thinking 4-star pretty much most of the way through it until I got to the ending and cried. That doesn't happen for me very often at all. And for a book to move me that much, because I was just so attached to Elizabeth, that was powerful. That was really powerful. So it's got to be 5-star. Highly recommend it. If you've read this, please let me know if you cried at the end. Or maybe it's just me. But yeah, I just felt very attached to her, and I thought the ending was beautiful, and that's kind of the way that I want to think of passing. But you have to read it to find out for yourself. So yes, beautiful story, beautifully told, and going to go and read more on Elizabeth of York, because she's a fascinating person who has a very, very difficult life, but also I am looking forward to the next one in the Tudor Rose. I think it's a trilogy, and the next one is Henry VIII, which I'm intrigued to read actually, because Henry VIII, her son, he has been a character. These are people, they're not characters. He has been there in so many books, particularly the Six Tudor Queens series. He's there in every one, and he plays such a dominant role. He's not had his own, has he, yet? So he has had his own in non-fiction by Alison Weir, which is a massive book, Henry VIII and His Court. Really brilliant if you want to read that. But yes, really excited to read the next one, because this was just so, so good, and I'm looking forward to rereading this in the future and crying all over again. So that's it for this vlog. Yeah, as I said, let me know if you've read the book and if you've cried, or if you cry at books at all. Sorry that I did cry. I'm just very emotional, but thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you're having a good Tudor Timber, and I'll see you soon for the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye.